It's hard to feel inspired to read tarot when your ego gets dealt a blow and another blow and another blow and another blow. It's hard to be inspired to read tarot when your ego gets dealt that many blows. And when I read tarot, there's an urgency about it. Like there's something that needs to be said to somebody that's looking for the answer. And it's moments like these where I'm not feeling the urge to read for someone. I have the urge to read for myself. The selfishness of that kind of impulse is detrimental to channeling. Like, I mean, I'm sure any other tarot reader on here would appreciate that fact. And my skill set is a little varied to other readers. I'm just going to change the angle of this because for some reason the light's getting glitchy there. And so it's just tricky, you know. I want to read for myself so bad, but I can't. I've tried. I gave myself a bit of it's not spiritual psychosis, but there is like an overuse of tarot kind of psychosis thing that you can do to yourself. If it's gonna sound kooky to the more skeptical of those out there that haven't really done this stuff as much as I have, but if you read the tarot for yourself too much, you know, particularly if you're obsessed with somebody and really, really want to get the answer that you want, and even if the answer that you want comes up, you start questioning whether or not that's the answer that's actually there or not. And so you keep reading until all these other weird scenarios start popping up, and what it can do is open like gateways in your mind. You know, it's like overthinking, but because you have so much faith in what you're reading, then it becomes reality to you, whether it's real or not, and you gain this sense of, well, people are lying to me if they don't tell me that these things are actually happening, or if you find out that you're slightly incorrect on some details, then you'll find like someone else in the vicinity of your energies that is experiencing the side story that you were attributing to somebody else. And it's not good for you to overread tarot. And it's not good for you to read your own tarot. And I'd be lying if I said that I don't do a lot of these readings because I kind of want to read my own, but I simply can't. And it's not that I'm expecting to receive a message for myself. In fact, I don't usually receive a message for myself at all. But what I get is the joy of it. I love reading tarot, and you can make fun of me as much as you like, but there's a reason for that, and it's because I love a good chat. You know, I love meeting up with my friends and mulling over the possibilities as to why somebody's doing X, Y, or Z in their lives. There's gossiping where you're talking shit about other people, and then there's trying to work out what's going on so that you can like mitigate the situation better. And that is what I love about my friends and what I love about tarot, because it's the same thing, but I can do it on my own when my friends don't really want to hang out. And I'm not a spring chicken. Like they got their lives. Like a lot of them married and a lot of them got kids. And so I'm just here doing my own thing. So hi, if you sat through that much, hi. That's why we're here. We're having goss and we're checking out the cards. So there's some changes going on, I get. So this card was the one that came out first. We got take the lead with the fireball. So I'm ignoring the take the lead part. Like I said, there's like some change coming on. It's obviously fiery and obviously passionate because we're talking about the flame ball in the hand, right? But that's not the point. It's like a shock, unexpected like surge, and like the hand, I'm seeing it as a stop kind of thing. Like there's something that could be catastrophic that could come or could have. Now I'm looking at the cards again. This could be the past energy. So this could have already happened where it's gone, stop. Let's just not go quite that far. If you're one of my conspiracy buds, then perhaps you might want to think of this as world events and the turning off of the CERN, which I'm sure is going to get censored by YouTube soon enough, so let's not ponder too deeply on that. Also, please ignore my hair. It is slightly wet. Peen, excuse me. Yes? Would you? Come here. No? You don't want to come up? You just want to be a cat? Come here. Sorry. Anyway, my middle section is topped with what in this deck is the Eight of Wands. It's called Dedicated Effort. Now, the thing about this card is I'll often see this as somebody like being on the outside looking at something that they want, and like seeing it, like all around. And obviously I've read this card often as someone looking for a love type relationship, or a nice big hug. Like perhaps you're just feeling a little lonely and want a real nice warm embrace from somebody that's just going to not make you have to explain yourself. I have quite a few cards to clarify this, quite a few. We also have the Six of Wands, which is giving and receiving. Now, we can see some chakras are highlighted here. We're going to go with crown or third eye for that blue one there. Third eye, throat, solar plexus, and heart. So a lot is engaged with this. Also in like the other cards that clarify, I have the base chakra and the solar plexus. So these ones are also highlighted. Something about that region of the body, something's up with that. You know what, you want to look at this in perspective of the CERN? Let's do that. Why not? It's just you and me, guys. Let's talk about it on that perspective, because we have all those women in the world that are saying that their periods doubled or didn't engage during June, and we're in July, and these are the chakras that would be involved in it. So if that's the case, and we got this too, so the solar plexus, and the card is red, which is the base chakra too, right? So I would suggest that the things that are being ignored and need to be engaged in order to realign the bottom half of the body would be the third eye, the heart, and the throat. So a perspective that I have that a lot of people don't share is I think that people think that they've broken their ego and are chasing what they really want, but then what they say that they really want is like abundance, and they just want loads and loads of money, and that's still very much part of the system. So if you're leaning into that, then you're not truly engaging with your spiritual higher self. And yeah, that's just another like rant that could go on for the next millennia. And I know that very brief description that I gave you there does not really paint a good picture about how I'm such an independent thinker. No, I sound just like everybody else. And I also have no reason to fucking complain, given I obviously have a very nice place that I live in. So, Prin, I don't really know what to tell you with that one, but I'm dead certain this is what it's talking about, because if you look at this, it's like a vulva. Like, it's absolutely talking about that disengagement between the top half of the body and the bottom half of the body. It's like they're two separate entities at the moment. I've forgotten what I was going to say about that. I had a wondrous thought that actually fit with this quite well. Now, the remaining cards I have to clarify dedicated effort, which is somebody on the outside looking in at something that they want, which is another theory on the universe that I have regarding this connection between higher self, ego, etc. I feel like Prin? Yeah, you're very angry, aren't you? Very angry. Yeah. You want to cuddles? Come here. Come here. Come on. I'm sorry, she's just a bit yelly tonight. Anyway, ascension. You know, if in 2020 or 2019, should I say, astrologers around the world were talking about how 2020 and 2021 were going to commence, the age of Aquarius, especially with Pluto moving into Aquarius, and that it would instigate the convergence of the universes. And so what is up must fall, and what is down must rise. So if we are ascending and rising, therefore all our higher thoughts must also descend. What we think is right becomes wrong. What we thought was wrong becomes right. Everything gets turned upside down until we know what we on our own truly believe, without impact from culture, friends, society, etc. That is what I mean by this kind of stuff. And so it's interesting to me that, we've got dedicated effort, which is what I was talking about, with the CERN stuff. But let's say this is about CERN and the convergences of universes and ascension and all of that. This is the most stripped out reading. I'm sorry, it's not relevant for anybody. But unfortunately, this is kind of how I read the cards. I'm a bit big picture. It's probably my Sagittarius and Mercury and Sagittarius, whichever way around you want to go. So like I was saying, to align, we need these higher chakras to speak to these two lower chakras And that seems to be emphasized in these cards, because we got this kid looking at both the blue and the green, and here we have the green and the blue. And again, the green is with the heart chakra, and this is the master. So he is controlling his heart, you know, like just trying to make sure that, you know, he doesn't get hurt. And I think that's why Ascension is taking so long as well, because none of us really want to get hurt. Nobody really wants to hurt anybody else. And when everything's coming into question the way that it can with this kind of Ascension-y stuff that's going on, especially from what I've experienced personally with it, it's no wonder that you might want to guard your heart, so to speak. And then this is the Emperor usually in other decks. Now, I want to understand the blue, the throat chakra here. He's got like a sun behind him, if you see, and then the blue behind. So it's as though like, it's like the shadows talking, or more to the point that the shadow needs to learn to speak. Yeah, and that would be what is going on there. Then, final cards, we have Perrine. Come here. Yeah. Gotcha. There. To you too. Good girl. All right, so then we have dreams coming true. She's got the whole world in her hands. Don't know why I said her, but hell, why not? Why not her? Why not her? Hey, where are you going, Squeaker? Yeah, I know you're hungry. Yeah, I'm not gonna feed you. No. This is my own fault for overfeeding her the last couple of days. Anyway, I think the point of this experiment is that there's some of us that are designed to just learn everything that we can about ourselves or the world around us, and be able to live a life that is truly unaffected by the influence of other people's assessments of what's necessary. And although everything that I was saying about Ascension and stuff there was extremely crazy and weird, what I'm trying to say is that there's a difference between, you know, just following the rule book on how to do this kind of stuff and, you know, really leaning into shadow and questioning absolutely everything. Now, I'm not going to recommend it highly because I'm not done with my own and it has sucked big time. Very isolating. But the glory on the other side of it is that the decisions that are made, you know that you made them with consideration of nobody else. Like, everything that you've chosen to do was because that is what you stand for, you know. And that you're not being influenced by anybody's coercive behaviors, which there are far too many. And again, I see this as, this one's called control, but I see this as the higher self looking at the physical form, guiding it. There's wings around her shoulders, which, and her helmet looks a bit like a beak, so like a bird. And oh, I had a thought about birds earlier, and I've totally forgotten what that is too. This is a very strange video. I'm very sorry if you're watching and I'm not making much sense, but, well, I hope there's something here for you. Please do comment. I'd love to hear from you. Tell me I'm a goose. Maybe this woman's a goose. Maybe I'm a goose. Maybe we're all geese. Then there's, moving on, White Shores. I'm going to clarify this because I'm not too sure what I'm looking at here. Moving on, the cards that I've got at the bottom here are the Sun and the Nine of Cups, so pretty positive energy. I know they look reversed, but they are upright for how I'm shuffling. It's just I wanted to show you, and it went everywhere. Ah! Cards, don't do this to me. Manny. What are you doing? Goosen. Actually, don't know where she is. I thought she was behind me. Oh. Got the Five of Pentacles. The left side of my face feels like my teeth are falling out at the moment. Like I've been grinding on them. Yep. Five of Pentacles, then Ten of Pentacles for moving on. And then Four of Wands and Queen of Pentacles, bottom of the deck. So the Five of Pentacles is exactly like that dedicated effort card that I was talking about before. It's been on the outside looking at people who have what you want, which Ten of Pentacles. And then Queen of Pentacles with the Four of Wands, I suppose, would be like, well, this guy's like walking toward this in what I'm looking at. So it's like losing envy of things that are painted as what is most desirable, like you know, the big like celebrity fame, billionaire, blah blah blah. Like you know, there's only one reason why anybody would ever try to paint fame in particular as something to be desired. And that would be because they envy those that don't have it so much that they need to make it appear as though not having it would be worse than having it. That was such a complicated way to say what I'm thinking. But the thing is, like the concept of an authentic relationship, like in German it would be Beziehung, you know, like not love relationship or like friendship or business association or like, you know, like all of those, like any kind of partnership in whatever situation it may occur. There is no way that it could ever possibly be authentic when there's money involved or fame involved, you know. You would not be able to trust anybody. And that's why there is all of this blackmailing stuff going on, because that's how you have trust and loyalty. Now, at what point is that something to be desired? Why would you possibly want any of that when you could just rely on your friends and your family, if your family's a good one, and your community. A friend of mine once said that love is showing up, and if you're paying somebody to show up, then they don't love you, they love money, but in my community here, I can put word out and someone will step up, and even if they don't know me, it's a love of this community that they do it for. And why would you want to live in a world where you have to corrupt and coerce constantly in order to maintain a status quo when you could just trust and flow? It really makes no sense to me. And I find it interesting just how many people desire things like fame. I can understand desiring money, especially if you've been left out in the cold a lot, and discarded by the people around you. I've been there. I learned to integrate, and I don't know, there's so much richness in the personal bonds that you can have with people, that whether they care about you or not, they share your values. I don't share all my values with the people around me here in this community, but we all value what we have, because what we have is we've got something very good where I live, where we've got native bushland, we've got kangaroos around the corner, we've got friendly people. We don't have that much traffic, but it's on its way. And I don't know, I'm getting a little piney and nostalgic right now, because you have this agreement called AUKUS, and all of that is going to change sooner than later. And at that point, I guess we have to try to decide if we stick with this place or we set ourselves on fire and turn into something new, embrace or heal. Basically the same card. Do you see what I mean? There's this big center thing at the bottom. Guy's got his hands going up, guy's got his hands going down. It's the same dude pretty much. Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot going on. Anyway, this was the strangest reading I've ever done. I'm gonna upload it anyway. All right, peace, love, thank you for watching. Please leave me a message and ask me to read on something in particular, because clearly I'm just reading a whole bunch of crazy stuff at the moment. All right, bye.